So there's a couple of really important things. The one thing is we talked about that our strength adaptations are potentially negatively impacted by our endurance exercise. But our endurance exercise is actually beneficially affected by our strength exercise. And there's two reasons for that. There's one way in which our strength exercise can inhibit our endurance performance. And then there's two ways that it's really good for our endurance performance. So let's start with the easy one, which is why our endurance could be bad for our strength work could be bad for our endurance. If we add a lot of muscle mass, our endurance activities is to move that mass of our body over a distance. The greater the mass, the greater the energy required to move over that distance. So if you're doing enough strength work to increase your body mass, that's going to increase the energy cost for the exercise, and that's going to potentially decrease some of your performance. Okay, because if you're bigger than the person beside you, but all of your VO2 max and your running economy are the same, and all of these things are the same, but you weigh a few kilos more, you're going to be working harder than the person beside you to go the same speed. Okay, and that's just going to over time mean that you have a greater stress on your body. So that's the negative component. If you're adding mass, you have to then carry that mass. But you're also increasing your strength and power. So what you have to do is you have to figure out whether it's worth it to you. Now, if I increase my muscle mass by 1 pound, and my body weight goes up by 1 pound, I have to get 2 pounds stronger in order to maintain that same speed that I want to go. 1 pound to lift it up, 1 pound to power it forward. So basically, for every pound of muscle or weight I add, I need to get 2 pounds stronger, as it were. Okay? On a bike, I don't need the same amount because I'm on a device that's holding me up. In the water, I don't need the same amount if I'm doing triathlon. Okay, so there's only really the run that's going to be negatively impacted by, or it's going to have the biggest negative impact. The bike is going to have less of a negative impact, and the swim is going to have very little negative impact by adding that extra muscle mass. Okay, the two good things that's going to happen for your endurance exercise or your endurance training is one is going to decrease the likelihood of injury. So when you lift a heavy weight, you're going to lift that weight, and the velocity at which you're moving that weight is going to be slow. And that's going to increase your strength of your muscle, and it's going to give you a small decrease in the stiffness of your tendon. And that's going to decrease the likelihood of musculoskeletal injury within that area. In fact, there's a really beautiful meta-analysis that shows that strength training, heavy strength training, decreases the likelihood of musculoskeletal injury by about 2/3, whereas stretching has zero effect on the rate of musculoskeletal injury. So that's one component. And the other good thing about doing strength exercise is that it seems to increase some of the molecular regulators of endurance. So again, out of Eva's lab in Stockholm, they did a simple experiment where they had people, I forget whether it was running or cycling, where they did a big endurance exercise. And then they had a group of them get off and do heavy leg press, one set of heavy leg press at the end of their endurance session. And what they found is they got double the increase in that molecular target that I had identified in my postdoc in WashU, PGC1 alpha, which is supposed to lead to some of the adaptations of endurance exercise. And so if you stop your endurance session and you go right into a strength session, you're going to actually get a greater signal for endurance adaptations by doing that strength session. So there's no problem there. So your endurance exercise is actually benefiting from your strength sessions.